okay guys, it's time to get a little energy for the night, and I gotta make sure that I'm drinking some water, so we're just gonna try and bang them both out at the same time.
I'm going to be reviewing Hydro Rush.
Time to get up, start moving. Gotta reach out and grab my Crypto Rush and Hydro Rush. Let's go.
We've got to get this generator started, and we're going to need the energy to do that and to go exploring. Vibes up, fam.
Cheers, fam.
Okay, you guys have magnesium in here, 66 milligrams. Sodium, sea salt, 1,000. All right, it's pretty high. You got some potassium, keeps you nice and invigorated, keeps your bones and your joints going good, muscles from cramping up. And then creatine. A lot of people have been telling me about creatine, very good things from the weight training community. Yeah, let's see how this tastes. Okay, not bad. All right, this is Hydro Rush.
Wow, we're doing it. We're doing it, Mina. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you, Don.
Thanks for being on 111. This has been a real treat to have you here and me staying with you for the past few days. We're in your living room, for goodness sake, so this is really cool. I absolutely love this. Why don't you share with everyone a little bit about what you do and how you help people solve their problems?
Yeah. So I support women entrepreneurs to build their systems in their businesses so that we can eliminate the overwhelm, and they can be able to actually do the things that they love and they want to do in their businesses, because I find that they are missing a lot of the pieces that can help them to actually scale their businesses. And part of that is what I offer.
Awesome. So you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about that journey. You probably weren't always an entrepreneur. I'm sure it took you a little bit of time to get there. For those who want to take that next leap or take that next jump, maybe tell us a little bit about how you got started and why you do what you do currently, and maybe a little more about your past.
Yeah, so I came from the corporate world. I've had multiple jobs in various different industries. From mortgage industry was my previous one, the most recent, until I became an entrepreneur. And I actually had lost my job in the mortgage industry during the crash in 2007, 2006, 2007, and then 2008 is when the recession happened, and I was jobless and depressed and didn't know what to do with my life.
That's a lot of people.
Was schlepping around. Yeah, there was a lot of us who had exited the mortgage industry. And so I had a colleague of mine who was also looking for her next thing and invited me to a seminar in LA. And the woman that was talking happened to be a life coach. And at that time, I had no idea what a life coach was, but I loved what she was saying and what she was offering. So I immediately felt like jumped on it, and I immediately felt like she could support me. And I hired her, and we were looking at different career paths for me. And I had told her one by one some of the things that I wanted to do, and we were researching it, and she really gave me the tools to be able to not only be proactive in my own life, but also to get, past all the patterns and habits that were holding me back. So I learned so much during that process that I decided that I wanted to become a coach. And from there led to my entrepreneurial path. And I've done some other things along the way, but coaching is a big part of what I do. And marketing is another one that I have been doing over the years. Back in 2009, when the websites were just starting to begin to happen, a lot of them didn't have websites, and more specifically, digital marketing had not surfaced as much yet, but it was starting to happen. And that's where I saw the trends, and I started beginning to really work on more online presence. I started doing SEO, and with the help of some other experts in that field, I learned a lot of the things that I applied into my own business that was working. I had actually my website was on the first page of Google, believe it or not, in 2009, 2010, and 2012 and so on. People were finding me and calling me. And so I began to then teach this to my clients as well. So my business clients were also needing support on how to get more leads, how to get more clients. And so I would be consulting them. And then it led into actually doing it. And here today, I have a full-on marketing agency, and that's what I've been doing and focusing on now.
That's amazing. So tell me a little bit about your coaching history, because that's how you got started being an entrepreneur. And there's like different kinds of coaches out there, right? There's life coaches, business coaches, love coaches, it's across the gambit. Where did you kind of see yourself as a certain specific coach? And then did you see this as like a long-term plan in the future, or tell me a little bit about like your transition, I guess, from coaching and then all the way to your marketing automation that you do now.
Yeah. So in the beginning, when I first started, I called myself a life coach.
Okay.
And
It's
back
all
then,
encompassing.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The training that I've had actually gave me, it was a year-long training. And it was over 212 hours in the initial year that I had, not including all the years of training that I've had, coach-specific training over the years. But basically, I was trained to coach in all areas of life. And so I started just like coaching anybody. It started from just, anybody who was looking for, setting better habits and achieving their goals and whatnot. So I coached from like CEOs, executives, to stay-at-home moms and everything in between. And I found that over time, I started learning who I really liked working with more. And I found that I really wanted to focus on helping business owners. And so I called myself a business coach then at that time. And then I became a marketing strategist. And then so I think that when I went through that period and that transition, I was becoming more and more clear about who I really wanted to serve, who I wanted to support. And it just evolved, over time. And now I see myself as the person that can not only provide a safe place for people to be able to really work on their challenges and overcome them. I also found that I really love tech. So I'm a bit of a nerd too. So I love the techie stuff. And now I'm supporting other businesses and helping them build their systems and whatnot. So it's just kind of evolved over time.
Nice. It sounds like you're adding value slowly but surely with your clients and what you offer them.
Yeah, I think so. I think that what's unique about what I'm offering is that I'm not only giving them the tools and giving them the platform. So, for example, I'm giving them the software, giving them that, but I'm also giving them the actual tools and support on how to build their businesses and how to overcome their fears, how to be able to work with what's happening now with AI and how that's come into play. And there's a lot to learn, as you know. We've been at it for a while ourselves and looking at how we can implement AI into our businesses to free up our time so that we're not having to do all the minutia and everything.
Yeah, and I've thought about that too with AI, and I was going to get to that later, but since we're already on that, I'm like, the amount of time though it spends, you have to learn it, and then after you learn it, understand it, then you can implement it. So I guess it does save you time in the long run, but in the short term, you have to actually spend time, right? So it's just like that cost benefit aspect that I've just been really grateful to have that time to spend, because not everyone can.
Yeah.
you know? And maybe for those who are struggling with AI or trying to use it as a tool, what would you recommend or advise them to start when they want to use AI for their business, but they're not sure like where to start or where to begin? What would you recommend to them?
Right. I think we talked about this because really it's about like just starting somewhere,
Sure.
just anything. Even it's just like one thing, like pick one area that you want to automate, that you want AI to support you in. Just do that one thing and see how it goes. And then from there, you can build on it. So I think that if you just like, and not be afraid of it, just start somewhere. There's so many tools now.
Right.
We have no excuse anymore. We have so many resources at our fingertips, and a lot of them are free. And people are, you know, still, I feel like there's still a lot of people who might be hesitant, who may be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it, because it's just like anything else that you're learning. When you learn something new, there's going to be a period of time where you're maybe going to be making mistakes, or you don't know what you're doing and you're going to fumble. But if you keep at it and you keep getting up, back up, you know, scrape your knees and you wipe your knees off and you get up and you do it again, that's how you're going to learn. So
I love that. I love that. So it's just like falling faster or failing faster, that triple F. I'm sure you've heard of that acronym. So it's
fail
like,
fast.
there we go. Fail fast forward. There we go. That's the acronym. I'm thinking of all these different business acronyms. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you just got to try it. And then if it doesn't work out, you just try it again, or you try a different way, different prompt. And everyone's like, it's this prompt engineering now that's becoming really big. And people are actually selling courses and classes on the right prompts. And so just learning how to prompt well and then becoming more efficient at that, I guess, is kind of the best way to start, and knowing like what you exactly want to. And maybe this comes back to the strategy part, because this is what you are kind of known for, is your marketing strategy. So why don't you give me some great strategy techniques that you use with your clients to kind of set them up for their businesses, you know, something that you would recommend?
Yeah, that's great. I love that question, because it is important to first take a step back and see what do you really want to, what is the outcome that you really want to have. First look at that and then work your way backwards. Like then work on how to get to that. Because the thing is like we could be ending up putting ourselves in a place where we may want to have some immediate results. And, you know, usually what happens is you might, you know, maybe there might be some traction. Some people do, some people have some traction, but then others, it's like, you know, you throw the spaghetti on the wall and you're hoping it sticks.
Right.
My approach always is, let's take a look at what your bigger goal is. What is that vision that you have? And then let's create a plan on how you can get there. And really taking the time to actually plan it. If you look at all these big companies, you know, Nike, you know, Microsoft, all of these big corporations, they first took the time to look at their market, and they did the market research. They, you know, looked at the company's overall vision, looked at their North Star, looked at, you know, who the founder is, even to the point of like, you know, branding the founder, branding the individual versus the company, all of that taking into consideration, and then starting to actually build and market. Some of this stuff can take time. It could take like months and maybe even a year to prepare and plan. But what happens is, once you solidify all of that and you know exactly, okay, this is what we really want to do, then you can go and start implementing, and you start planning, doing the actual, you know, marketing stuff. And I understand small businesses. I totally get, you know, we don't have that luxury of time to wait. So we're always, and I know I am too. It's like, I want things yesterday.
Right.
So I think about every little step that I'm going to take. First, do something around writing down your actual vision. Like really write it down. Like that can only take an hour. That's not going to take much time.
Right.
Write it out. Write out like, what is your big dream? What is your big goal that you want? Do you want to be like living on a yacht and traveling around the world, or do you want to be able to just have the flexibility and freedom of like, you know, going out to have fun or whatever, you know, go travel, or even just simply like having a home or whatever it is. What are those things that you really want, feeling into it and then believing that it's going to happen, and then take whatever actions that is going to help support that and that vision. And it doesn't have to be big. Again, you know, like as entrepreneurs, we want everything quick, we want everything fast. And guess what? Now we're in a place where we can get to that much quicker, and that is called AI.
Right.
Like we can
Yes.
actually
It's
have
true.
AI do a lot of the work, and the amount of time that it takes for us to do something, the tasks that it takes days or hours or whatever, it can do it within seconds and minutes. And so
It's crazy.
seeing how you can, like, you know, again, just every day work on something towards that.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. And, you know, as an entrepreneur, sometimes we struggle with trying to find the right thing to do every single day. And I know we have to have systems in place in order to enable us to get moving, right? To be active. And so what are some systems that you put in place to kind of help you or motivate you to get the things that you need to get done? Because, you know, it's not a traditional 9 to 5, which thank God, you know, I'm kind of in that same spot, but maybe to help people or maybe struggling a little bit with their systems, what would you recommend for them and try to help them in order to get to that place where they can be and establish and go for that vision that they're looking towards?
Yeah. Number one, I would first take an inventory of all the things that you do on a day-to-day basis that's repetitive and see how you can automate that.
Okay.
So like sending out contracts, like doing the onboarding with a new client, for example, automating that. In fact, I was just in a meeting with one of my clients, and we've had all the automations done for B2C, you know, for her clients.
Sure.
All that's done and in place.
That's great.
But now we're going to take it to the next level. We're growing her team. And I said, why don't we just automate the onboarding process? We can create a workflow around that. The NDAs, the independent contractor contract, the agreements, anything like you are already, like even the email saying, welcome aboard, like all that can just be automated. I'm like, how about if I just create a workflow where when we're bringing on new people onto the team, we just boop, turn it on and there you go. Right. She was so happy. I'm like, yeah, you know, she's having to like repeat this over and over and over again and sending out all these emails and contracts and stuff. And I'm like, no, I mean, you just start with something, like create a system around something that's repetitive. I would start there.
Okay. I love that. I love that focus because, yeah, we do a lot of repetition throughout the day. I was just thinking it would be great if we could apply that to our exercise and workouts. So I'm like, no, we actually have to do that ourselves, unfortunately.
But it's fun. I mean, we may like the first 10 minutes sucks, but then 15 minutes to it, I'm like, oh my God, this feels so great. Why am I not doing this every day?
Right. And I think since I skipped my workout, well, I was going to do it later today, but I'm like, oh man, I feel like I'm missing something this morning since I haven't done it, right?
Same.
My run. So I'm like, should I have AI do that for me? Well, no, but I'm just still, it would have been funny. But at the same time, yeah, it's great to automate our tasks, especially the repetitive ones, especially when it comes to business. And I'd love to get more into how you've transitioned or how you've kind of brought about this mindset of, you know, ownership, of agency, and getting to the point where you're at now. And I know you came from the real estate brokerage past, but even like in your personal life, I know you're a mother with a kid and 7 years old, and she's been really cool to hang out with and stuff. And she's been loving Stella, my cat. So how do you, that's awesome. How do you balance, I guess, work life and mom life with that? Because it is a lot, you know, as an entrepreneur, and it can get overwhelming. maybe for all those single moms out there, you know, they're struggling to find that work-life balance. What are some recommendations or advice that you would give them? Because it's hard, especially even with AI, you know, it's still hard to get all the things done that you need to get done day to day. So how do you take that? And then how do you have this like balance?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to
I have
stress.
a few things to share with that.
Beautiful.
One, first of all, the mindset.
Mm.
If you say that you don't have time, you're just going to continue to ruminate over the fact that you don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the energy is spent more on the lack and not being able to do what you want to do.
Mm.
And so, you know, I recommend looking at that first, because everybody has the same amount of time in a day.
Right. 24
It's
hours.
a matter of what you do with that time, right?
Right.
Why is it that some people, like Richard Branson, you know, owns 100 companies and, you know, is able to do what he can, you know, in the same amount of time that the rest of us do? So you got to look at the mindset first, because and also it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. So I think the systems come into play for that reason, to be working smarter.
Right.
And then, you know, looking at that, and then two, I really believe in structure. I believe in routines. I try to teach this to my daughter as well. Now, didn't happen for me overnight, believe it or not. I was such a terrible procrastinator.
Really?
Oh my God. I was late for everything, and I thought I would be late for my own funeral. I mean, like, this was a serious problem that had been like passed down, you know, from my family. My mother, she was a chronically late person. And so I never really learned the habit and understood the value and importance of routines, like going to bed at a certain time and getting up at a certain time, making sure you put time in for workouts and exercise and eating right. All of these things, like, I stumbled a lot for a long time along the way, until I finally was able to like really make it important for me to do that, to have the routine and have it consistent, and then be able to actually make time for my own self-care. So even though there's like, you know, stuff going on with my kid or whatever, I still try to make time for myself. And I purposefully create my schedule around that. And I put it into even my calendar. I do time blocking. So like certain times of the day, like in the morning, I do this. I have my own little quiet time. I do my meditation or whatever. And then I start my day and go into work, and I have blocks of time for work. People can only make appointments with me, you know, between 10 and 5, let's say. And then outside of that, you know, I can have the time to be able to do my own things, be with my daughter and whatnot. So I think that it's just structure, creating those structures and systems and stuff. Now I understand that things happen, obviously. There's always something, and you get thrown off.
Yeah.
That happens too. Sometimes I get thrown off because I have a broken toe. So for like an entire month, my whole schedule and routine is off. But I know that I can bring that back. And so what matters is not beating yourself up over it as like, oh, I'm not able to do the things that are, or my routine's off because this happened. It's okay. You know, we can get back to that routine again and just like bring ourselves back to it. It's kind of like you veer off track, you go off course for a little while, and then reminding yourself of why you want to be back over there again.
Right. Financial freedom.
Yes, financial freedom. It feels good. You know, you get to enjoy life and all those things. Yeah.
Right. So establishing good habits, time blocking, and then reality sometimes hits you, but you just kind of go with the flow. That's what it sounds like.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, for me, I always feel like I have this never ending to-do list. But if I can at least knock out minimum 3, maximum 5 things a day, I feel pretty good, you know.
Awesome.
So that's kind of where I land when it comes to trying to get things done and trying to have grace, or just have be okay with not doing some of the things and not being too hard on yourself, because we're our worst own critic. Like, let's be
100%.
real.
Yeah.
And sometimes, that I really am hard on myself, but I have to remind myself, hey, it's okay. You always have tomorrow. You can get it done again. You ran out of, doing all the things you needed to do to feel good about yourself. But it's okay. There's always tomorrow. And I'm glad there is a tomorrow, right? I'm very grateful for that. So, and I'm grateful that I'm able to show up physically and spiritually and emotionally for myself before I show that to others, and being more intentional about that, because I think a lot of people, they need to have that system in place within their own life. And that's maybe some of their struggles, right? Some of what they're really trying to overcome. And so that's great advice. Yeah, thank you for that. And you've been doing this for a while, right? So how long have you been doing being an entrepreneur now? You said you started
17, going on 18 years.
18. That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I know.
And so, they always say the first 5 years is the hardest, right? And it's kind of make it or break it with businesses and startups. So how was it for you in the first 5 years?
Oh, it
Talk
sucked.
to me about that. Okay. Did you have to get like a little part-time job to kind of help, or okay.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
as you
Along
were-
the way, I did get some other jobs. And in fact, it wasn't all entrepreneurship. There were times where I did step out and I did take a break, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
I think that I also, having grace over that as well, because, this is not easy. It's not an easy path. And the reason why people, their businesses fail in the first 5 years is because I think there's a lot of reasons. One is sometimes you go into it with high expectations. And then when it doesn't happen, the benefits or the, ROI doesn't show right away, people will leave and quit and give up.
Right.
Before, like they say, the 3 feet from gold, that before that strike, the gold strike, like you could, contribute it to that. And also there's a lot of reasons, obviously. Could be maybe it's just a bad business idea. Like that could be it too. And it has nothing to do with the person. Right. And people do take it personally, and unfortunately, and think that they're the failure when it was actually some external factors. And then there's also the idea that it's going to be glamorous for whatever reason. Like entrepreneurship is going to give me, the world is my oyster. You think that I'm going to be bringing in all this money and it's going to be great. And not realizing that there is some serious sweat equity that goes into it.
For sure.
And a lot of people have that idea to think that they shouldn't have to work as hard. But honestly, it's not an easy path. And you have to have resilience. You have to have commitment. You also need to learn to tune out what everybody else says around you, because that was me. I listened to my former spouse. He would tell me after a while things were not working or things were not coming in, and I wasn't getting traction. He would tell me to go get a job. And then I would sit there and I'd be starting to doubt myself. And then I start start giving up slowly, subconsciously sabotaging my progress and stuff. And so you got to learn to have that resilience and to just stay in your lane, because every single person has a unique thing that they are bringing into the world, and nobody else carries that vision for you.
Right.
It's only you. Only us. We have that. We've been given that gift. I do believe that. I believe that we are given that gift, and we are here for a purpose and for a reason, and we have to stay in our lane. And those naysayers, we have to just tune them out.
Right. Yeah, we got to focus. I think a lot of us, we lose that focus because we get too distracted. We have ADHD, right? We always
Shiny object syndrome so bad. Like, I know.
And so-
Again, I'm on the ADHD spectrum too. I get it. It's like,
who isn't? Let's be real.
I know.
But technology doesn't really help with that too. Like social media, I feel like it's progressively making it worse. So how do you find that balance of staying focused, of like being really lasered into like your business, you know? How do you do that?
That's a great question. So for me, first of all, I had like, let's just say that there was a period of time early on, you know, growing up and then as an adult, I allowed the outside circumstances control my life. Like I was easily distracted, and I would not pursue the things that I wanted to do because there were things happening around me that I would be affected by, right? So that was one. And then later on, I realized by me helping more around other people and not actually putting myself first, there was a huge cost. And so I learned the hard way after several times of like, you know, really getting like slammed with like severe like loss to the point where I would like lose my business or my success or things like that, that I realized I'm not gonna let other people get in the way of my success anymore. And then when my daughter came, I had just come out of a really bad, like really toxic relationship, and I had to just put the pieces back together and look at my life and say, wow, like all the decisions that I have made, I'm responsible for. I allowed this person to do this to me and enable it. I've basically trained them to treat me a certain way, or I allowed this circumstance to happen and I had to take ownership of it. And I'm like looking at my life and I'm like, oh my God, all the choices that I have made led me to the point where I am today, and I don't like it. And for me at that point was when I said, no more, like this is going to stop. It's going to end. And I took ownership, and then I realized how much more important it is for me to stay focused. And then of course I started like deleting all my social media apps. Like I went for like 4 years without it.
Wow.
This was right around the pandemic.
Okay.
Like in 2021.
Interesting.
After I saw and I noticed, I was like, oh my God, that things are really changing. And I have like beautiful, lovely friends in the conscious community, even fighting with each other and even attacking me. And even in a DM, I was so shooken up by it. I was just like, this is disgusting. Yeah. So I just decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm just not even going to be in it anymore. So I just like took that urge and, you know, desire to want to go doom scroll. I just completely took it off my phone.
Wow.
So I was just like social media free for a while there.
How was that experience? Tell me. I want to know.
It felt great.
It's liberating.
It felt really great.
Yeah,
like
just to
when
take
I
a
make a
step back,
decision,
yeah.
like this is the thing too. And I think that, you know, when somebody really wants something, when they make a decision and they go for it, it's like quitting smoking, for example, or whatever. Some people can do it cold turkey and it's like amazing.
Right.
Right. And why is that? What, you know, like that's, it's really interesting when you see that if somebody truly wants to make a change in their life, if they really want something, they will go after it. They will. And I think that's where I just had enough. I was just like, you know what? I'm good without it. I felt really good without it. And it was so nice. And then when I decided to bring it back into my life, I did it not because I'm like, oh, I miss it, but it was more like, I'm going to be intentional about this. I'm doing it because I am ready to start building my business again, and I'm going to use it as a tool. So I was using it for work purposes. And then I also, there's these really great extensions like on Chrome. It's called Newsfeed Eradicator. I highly recommend it if you want to. Instead of like going into Facebook and then suddenly getting lost, like, oh, this is good, this is fun, this is interesting. I mean, like I'm going in there to post something and be intentional, and then I get distracted.
Right.
Because these guys, I'm sorry, Meta, all of them, they
know.
intentionally know they're using these psychological tactics, and it has been known that they are using these intentionally to keep you on their platform.
Of course.
And so of course you can't control that, you can't turn it off. So these apps and these extensions are super helpful. So this newsfeed eradicator, it just makes your whole like profile a blank slate, like it's blank.
Okay.
It doesn't even show anybody's stuff. It is just so nice. So you can just actually go in there, post, and then get out.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm sure a lot of people need that.
I love it.
That's incredible, because I struggle with it sometimes, and I have to remind myself, if I'm going to be on social media, I should post something. Like create, not consume. I'm always on that fence line of like, because we're all consumers at the end of the day. But when someone creates something, you know, and you post that, that's a lot better than just consuming, right? You're adding value to the ecosystem, and that's more ways that people can find you and maybe book a discovery call and lead next to next. So it's like, I always try to keep that in the back of my head. But also I have like time blocks that I've put on myself, and I didn't do it today, and I felt bad. Like I was like, okay, I have to do my routine. My morning routine is really important. After I do the morning routine, then I can check my socials. Didn't do that today. Instead, I scrolled on TikTok to my live creator that I love listening to her, and I was on there for like 15-20 minutes, and I was like, darn it, no, why did I do this?
Don't worry, it happens to the best of us.
I know.
I do too. We all get sucked into it.
Yes.
And it's just like,
and
you
I was
just have
sucked
to
into it. The algorithm, it's so good at showing you what you want. And I love listening to this live creator. I just love her morning news segment. So I'm like, oh, let's see what she's got, you know. And I'm like, I don't know. So it's just you have to really be conscious. You have to be intentional. Intentional. Intentional.
Be intentional about it. Like really, like before you go into it.
Not past 9. That's what I'm starting to do now. Or even like after my run. Okay, I can't check my social after I get my run, after my workout or something. And like lay these intentions out and follow through, because, and this is what I just posted in my video yesterday about self-accountability, right? You know how hard it is.
We have to be holding ourselves accountable more. I know.
Exactly.
And of course, that's what coaches are for too, to help people to gain those specific tools as well, to be able to, you know, have more accountability. But you're right. Like when you're talking about create, not consume, my motto for a long time has always been output, not input, because for a long time I was allowing outside stuff coming into me, and I wasn't creating, and I wasn't building and creating. And so I made that intention again to, like, you know, put a barrier and switch that and say, I'm going to be creating more out. And because I have so much already information, I don't need more information. I just need to be building and creating.
Right.
So creating and consuming versus consuming is actually a pretty great way to say it.
Yeah, it's really that simple at the end of it too. And social media, it really feeds on the consuming part. So it's like you have to be conscious about, oh my gosh, I got to post something, you know, post every day. And just because there's a very small percentage, there was a study done recently of like, there's like less than 10% of people actually post stuff that actually use social media. Over 90% just doom scroll.
Well, that's why I'm loving the social planner. That's really cool, because then, you know, you eliminate having to be doom scrolling. You're not actually in the platform.
Right.
You go into the social planner and you just build it out, and then you schedule it, and then you're done. And it's like, using those third-party apps, I do recommend. I think that's a really great thing to do as well. So if somebody's stuck, you know, trying to create rather than consume, using those third-party apps is a great way to go.
And I think it's going back to establishing your systems, going back to even batch processing. And I know we're getting into minute when it comes to social media now, but like, I want to take it back to your business and what you're building for the future, So share with me a little bit about how this transformation or this transition is going from your business coaching to your marketing automation right now, and how that is adding more value to your clients, and how you're really excited about this transition, because I feel like a lot of businesses need this, and a lot of businesses aren't really aware of how much more that they can automate and use your services. So maybe, share with us a little more about the present day resource that you provide with your clients now.
Yeah. So today I'm offering and I provide and I support other women entrepreneurs with the platform that is going to automate most everything in their business.
Wow.
And so then they could be able to serve their clients. So like, for example, a service-based business, busy with a client and can't answer the phones, for example, can't answer the calls, let the automation, let the AI answer the calls and actually book and put the person in your calendar. And wouldn't it be great? Like, you're done with your client, you look at your calendar and you're like, oh, I have a new client in here booked already. And, so those are the kind of things that I offer and I do for my clients. And then, the transition was really about myself too, in my own entrepreneurial journey and being a woman entrepreneur. And I wish I had automated a lot sooner. I really do. And now I see the value and the importance of doing it, whereas before I didn't. And I've always loved to support people with their lives and their businesses, and coaching them has been a part of me for a very long time. And through my own journey of realizing, hey, if I want this goal, how do I get there? Then I came across this and I'm like, oh my God, yes, the systems, that's what I need. I need to do it this way. And then it turned into like discovering this report, this study. It's called the GEM report. It's a global study done on women in business. And they actually have studied, like, compared it to men in business. They look at the demographics, they look at their education, they look at, their background and skills, and they look at everything. And then they see that they discovered actually that there are a certain set of challenges that women face in business versus men. And one of them is support. They lack the support to actually succeed in their businesses. And so from there, going down the rabbit hole, I was like, oh, okay, so what if I could create a program utilizing my coaching skills to help these women and bring that support system in with it? And so from there, it evolved into like creating a community and then creating the masterclass. And 7 weeks, I take them through. And even one of the modules is about the ethical implications of using AI, because I know that a lot of people have hesitations around that, especially a couple of years ago. I think it was more so. The conversation was more like strong when ChatGPT started exploding. And so we covered that, we talked about the elephant in the room, and we looked at, hey, what can you do that is going to be aligned with your values, right? Because it's about the values, and it's not really AI that's the problem, it's the user that's the problem. And so can you use AI to do good, right? Can you use AI to create something amazing that is going to help other people, help the environment, help animals, help the planet, those kind of things, right? Having that kind of intention in there, I think, is really important. And then also bringing that support, that true support. It's like, okay, great. Let's look at, what you want to achieve. And then let's see, let's create that support system around it, so that you can really truly thrive, right? So I had called it, my program is called Thriving Female Entrepreneurs.
I love that.
And yeah, and I took a group of women, and I had taken them through that master class and that course, and they loved it so much. And then from there, after that, it evolved into, oh my God, it's like right under my nose this whole time. I'm using this system. I had already made that intention, that decision to use and bring a system into my business. Then I talked to a good friend of mine, another coach friend of mine, and he's like, oh my God, I don't know why I didn't think of this idea for you earlier before. He's like, yes, do it. Like I told him, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to start a marketing agency and start selling this to other women and create, have this system for myself, but also build it for other women. And it was like a no-brainer at that time. It's like, ding, like the light bulb finally came on, and I was like, this is it. I'm like, oh my God, this is the answer. And which is like, and so I'm just like having so much fun with it, because then, earlier this year, I decided to launch my marketing agency and go full on and just focus on this and say, you know what? And what's really cool is that my coaching, the coaching part is still there, because we have weekly masterminds. I'm going to sit with them and I'm going to still support them and coach them through their challenges and help them build that system. So it just became this beautiful merge of bringing in those two worlds together. Even though I had them separate all these years, I've always done marketing. I've built websites, done SEO, branding, all of that. And then I just brought it all together into one place. So it's really cool.
I love that. I love that. So it's like you're value stacking everything that you've learned over the years. You've combined it. You've found a way to combine it in such a way where it's just like, it's your unique selling proposition, right? So your USP. And so I love that. And you always come back to support, which I think is really important too, because a lot of us, especially entrepreneurs, like we lack that support a lot. It's so nice to have a community that will support you. And I love that you created one, and it's inspiring me to create my own someday, or hopefully in the near future, because I would love that, especially when it comes to podcasts, I think, and having other podcast hosts. They probably need support too, and connecting other hosts together to help each other in their own businesses.
There's an opportunity there for you. Absolutely.
There's so much.
I could see that for you.
That would be awesome. Yeah, we'll get there. But to say all that, it's so nice that, we're always like at a 9-to-5, we're forced to be around people sometimes we don't want to be with. But as entrepreneurs, we can actually pick and choose who we want to work with, which is really great. And so I'm kind of like interested to hear about your insight when you're picking your right clients, or you're picking your right colleagues or people that you want to work with. What are some signs that you look for? Red flags, green flags, anything that can kind of help assessing, like, okay, is this someone going to help me or drain me? So it's like energy alignment, right?
Yeah.
So how do you kind of like assess that, and maybe some rule of thumbs, that you could share with us?
Oh, that's a good one too, because I'm like, I remember early on in my career, I would just take on anybody as a client.
And you're not supposed to.
And you're not supposed to. I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've had this conversation numerous times with my own coaches along the way. And, some of them, there's like two different schools of thought. Like one of them is you take on these different clients so that you can learn who you enjoy working with the most. And then that will tell you who is your ideal client. And then you can focus on that person. So you got to try them all out and see, which one you like.
Try them out.
Try them out. Like an outfit. You just put them on.
That's what I was thinking.
So you just like, you learn along the way, which was my case. I didn't like come out the gate immediately after training and had a niche. I didn't have like a specific niche that I had selected. It evolved over time. And then it's like now more and more around actually what message am I putting out there? And what is the languaging? So this comes back to the branding, getting really super clear. And again, taking that time, not thinking it's a waste of time, because I know people want to hurry up and start doing their business and, getting clients and stuff like that. But if you could just take a little bit of extra time to work on this piece of your branding, it can be so valuable because it's going to be insightful. You're going to really like reflect on who you really enjoy working with the most, and then building a plan around it so that all of your messaging, you know, your signature brand statement, I call it. I have this whole brand discovery process that can walk you through and help you to discover, you know, who you enjoy working with the most, what are your values, what's your mission. All of that you can bring together so that then when you go out and do social media, when you start posting, you're talking to that audience that you want to work with. And that is going to draw those right people in.
Right.
Otherwise, if you don't do that part and you're just like saying whatever, thinking, oh, I'll just take anybody and have a wide filter, you're going to take people that it's going to be draining you.
Right.
You're going to take those people that are not your ideal clients, and you're going to have those people attracted. So it's part us to put that, you know, plan in place, and then marketing, and then doing the social media content around that.
Got you. So your target audience, basically.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. So the people that you align yourself with, and they like you, they trust you, they start paying you essentially, you know, and so I got you. That makes perfect sense. And I love that, you know, you take the time to strategize that out, you know, so, and I know that takes time too, but I think that's really important to have a strategy in place. This is what I do with my own agency. So it's just like, you need that strategy in order to implement, and you just can't like, just they're posting randomly. Got you. I got
you know,
you.
and that's why like you get somebody to help you with this process as well.
It helps.
Because you can actually get to that point faster, you know, when you have an expert, you know, who can understand branding, who can understand the unique selling proposition and all that, and positioning and whatnot and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to have people, I'm just saying, it's
I
nice to have
know.
people like that in your corner, because and it's also good to have like another set of eyeballs and just other people, because like it's hard. Like, sure, you can ask AI, I guess, and whatever, but at the end of the day, you know, it's like, if you're really serving people, we want to make sure that, you know, other people are taking a look at our, you know, business plan of like, is this really solid? Because it might be solid to you, but it's like, could it be solid to someone else?
Oh,
It might be
totally.
very different.
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
I can't tell you how many people I've come across. I mean, thousands of people, like, you know, through over the years of going to conferences and seminars and trainings and stuff like that. And I see so many people that, you know, have been like, you know, basically focusing on the wrong thing. Like, they have had this vision of thinking that they want this specific audience, and of course it always comes to, I'll take anybody, and it's like, no, you don't want to take anybody. You know,
I think they're looking after the money, and it's like, it's not just about the money, it's about the relationships too. It's about the value,
right?
And maybe that's not what they're looking at, right?
Well, I mean, you get it, and I can see that you have had people who have taught you, and you know, you understand. And the thing is like, when you see that you have had an impact on somebody and it brings you joy, then the results, you know, show how it's valuable and how amazing you can be when you have that ideal situation. Like, for example, like, you know, sometimes I've had people where they want to be more in control over the whole designing process. And that may not necessarily be my ideal client, because it can limit my genius of what I do the best, which is developing that personal brand for that person in the best way that I know. And it can like hinder and it can affect the end results and the output, right? Just like you with like social media, you know, you're learning that business, and you can see from that angle, hey, this is how we can, you know, present them in the best way that you know how.
Right.
right? And so then, you got that person who's like developing things and putting things out there that are not in alignment with their brand, and you see that and how frustrating that is. Like,
Yeah, it
right?
is. It's
And
tough.
I
Yeah.
have to see, like, okay, can I put my stamp of approval on this? No. Like, I have to make sure
Right, right.
part of it is having some control over the creative process, letting you be in your lane of your genius.
Right.
And then, the business owner can be in their lane of their genius.
Yeah, and it's all about energy alignment too, I've noticed too. Like they have to have similar energies for you to like want to work with them, and they want to work with you. Like it's a
Absolutely.
two-way street. But then like, your job isn't to help everyone, right? Your job is to help a select amount of people that resonate with your energy or resonate with your brand, and that need help or that need a problem solved that you feel like you can help them solve. And so either, you ask them questions, be curious, or it's like they can see what you do and they inquire within you, right? So you're attracting them to you. How have you found it within your business? Has it been more of like you're a little more proactive or reactive when it comes to your clients and how you acquire them?
Great question. So again, I think what helps me is being really, really clear, first of all, who I want to work with. And like, for example, on my forms and people who want to, like, let's say, schedule a discovery call with me, I have a certain set of questions that they have to answer, like a questionnaire that they fill out.
A little bit.
And that gives me a little indication of, like, who they are and whether or not they are a right fit. And so I get that information up front before I'm on the discovery call with them. So, and like one of the questions is like, how ready are you, to do this? Or like another one is like, are you curious about coaching? Have you had a coach before in the past? Because those kind of things, that information can help me to see if this person is a right fit or not, if they really do want to work with a coach or not.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the likelihood of that? I'm just curious. Have you done like the percentage wise of people filling out your form or vetting them? Because I feel like it's kind of a
Yes,
vetting process.
it is kind of a vetting process. Exactly. It is.
Yeah.
Well, and I put a little disclaimer saying, are you willing and able to invest for a 3-month container with me? Because I believe that it's really important to give that time to be able to really take in and absorb, because changing habits and stuff, it doesn't happen overnight, especially when it's lifelong habits. You can't like suddenly boom, like change it in like one session or even a month, right? And so you have to kind of set that expectation to them to say, hey, look, you got to be committed for the long run if you really want to see the results for your investment. And so I think that those questions really help, actually. Those really do help me. And I think most of the time they are, I would say few of them, probably like 30%, are coming to me and they're like curious.
Okay, sure.
And they just want to kind of see, test the waters and see.
Sure. Have you found that a lot of them have had coaches in the past, or is it the first time that they've had a coach? Or
a lot of them haven't.
Okay, a lot of them haven't.
Surprisingly.
Interesting.
But some of them have in some other variation.
Okay.
Like they'll have like a what is it? Like a therapist, slash coach, because that exists too. Therapist.
Really?
Well, yes. And it's so funny because I've been in this industry for so long. When I first started out, nobody even knew what a life coach was. Like they'd be like,
really?
"What? Oh, God, yeah."
Tony Robbins is a
No,
life coach.
no, and not in 2008.
Oh,
People were like,
okay.
"What's a life coach?"
Okay.
And I had to educate them. I had to like teach them and give them like, a sample session, like a complimentary session, so they can experience it and see what it's like.
Right.
Because they're like, "Oh, is it like a sports coach?" And I'm like, "Not exactly."
Gotcha.
So that was that hurdle.
Okay.
And then it evolved. This whole coaching industry has evolved a lot.
I've
Okay.
seen, yeah.
And so I've watched it all,
Mhm.
grow and
Yeah.
to where it is today. And now it's so saturated. And then even during the pandemic, suddenly there was this huge influx of coaches that came out
I
of
remember
the
that.
pandemic
Yes.
because people were at home and they're like, I have nothing to do. I don't have a job. I'm going to be a life coach. And so then
Yeah.
you have that.
Mhm.
But what's funny is then what happened, I started beginning to notice, and I look at trends and patterns. I'm really like always paying attention to trends and patterns. And this is part of what I offer and what I bring into my, clients and conversations to help them like to position themselves to be able to, carve out a niche or a market, a certain market for themselves, is to really look at the trends, because I really believe that you have to be adaptable, one, and you have to look around and the trends of what's happening in the economy, which will be an indicator of how successful you will be in your business. And if you're doing things the old way,
Right.
and you're not willing to learn new things, like AI today is not going away, we have to adapt to that if we want to, stay in the game, right? So I look at that, and then I see like therapists suddenly turning around, and because they saw how people were like, it wasn't popular to say, I'm going to go see my therapist. Nobody would ever say that. But then when, life coaches came on the plane, they're like, oh, I'm going to go see my life coach. And they're like, oh, how fun and exciting, right? So, so then the therapists started rebranding themselves as life coaches.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Dang.
And maybe they did go actually get like professional coach specific training, but a lot of them didn't. And so all they did was just switch their title, and they call themselves life coaches. Okay. Which is so different. So here's the thing. Therapy is all past-based, working on trauma, like cognitive behavioral therapy is mostly about talking and stuff like that. And there is some things that are good there, but coaching is around, okay, your life is like this. What do you want to do about it? And you want to be there. How can we bridge that gap? And let's work on that. Right. And actually, it's more future forward, action based accountability that the coach brings to the person. Sure. And so I believe that the combination of therapy and coaching work really well together. I have some clients who go see a therapist, and then they come to me on working on the plan. And so, there is a definitely a great, relationship and balance and benefit there. But it's funny that I'm just seeing like so many people that actually you can just, call yourself a coach. You can literally, and this is one of my pet peeves, because I went through a very extensive coach training program.
I bet, yeah.
Through an organization called International Coaching Federation. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No, but they sound
worldwide.
Legit.
I know they are. They're like
legit,
the gold standard of coaching, and the level of coaches that come out. The training is standardized. Like there's a core competencies that you have to follow, and you have to pass a rigorous exam, multiple exams, oral and written, in order to be a credential through this organization. And a lot of the Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies will only hire ICF coaches.
Really? Wow.
And more specifically, even PCC, which there's 3 levels, and it depends on the level of training and hours that you have. So there's associate, professional, which is what I am, professional certified coach. And then there's master certified coach. Master is like when you have over 1,000 hours of coaching under your belt.
Gotcha.
And for me, it's 500 hours. So,
wow.
And then ACC is 100. So yeah, there's like all these different, training out there, and a lot of them are really great. But again, coaching is just one of those things that hasn't been really standardized, or hasn't really been, you don't have to have a license to do.
Right. Unlike therapy, I feel like therapy need a license.
Yeah.
Don't you need
Eventually,
like a master's?
coaching
Yeah.
will eventually, and that's what
Right.
ICF is doing. In fact,
Okay.
they are moving in that direction. It's just slow moving, just like
Sure.
even psychology way back when. It was never required. You were never required to be licensed, and eventually it caught on, and then, you know, they did have to.
Sure. Yeah.
I believe, my belief is that coaching will eventually get there too.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. It makes sense. So coaching seems a lot more, you know, in the future, proactive, whereas therapy is more like past trauma and past and trying to figure that out or work on that and getting past that kind of deal. So that's what mainly makes the most sense between the two. So that makes sense. But I'm glad that, you know, you've kind of moved past that and you're looking forward and you've seen how the industry is and you've seen ways that it could use improvement. But I don't know. Since COVID for sure, there's just been this influx. And I've even seen it on social media too. That's when I started, I would say, you know, dabbling into a little bit of the social media marketing and doing lives and stuff and on that front. But from that point, yeah, it's definitely evolved, and who knows where it's going to be evolving into next. Talking about the future a little bit as we kind of wrap up this interview, which has been really fun, by the way, Mina. I know this is kind of our second go at it, but I'm glad that we stuck around and did it because I feel a lot better about this interview than the one yesterday. So thanks for sticking it in.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
Of course.
This has been really fun.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
I'm glad. Thank you. But tell me a little more, I guess, like your future goals with your business. We're looking towards the future. What are some ways that you could add more value with your future clients, and how are you growing, you know, and where do you see yourself, let's say, in the next few years with your business?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so my business and the focus has been to scale it more than ever before. And being able to support other business owners to scale as well. Now, I know I've talked more about, you know, supporting women entrepreneurs. However, I do also have male clients too. In fact, I have 2 of them, and I'm gonna get another one. And it's fun. For me, it's fun. Like, my focus and my goal these next couple of years is to scale it to 7 figures. And be able to, you know, create that lifestyle for me and my child, and really to teach her, you know, how to be empowered and how to create, like, you know, the routine and the foundation, you know, to be able to do it. She's already a little entrepreneur too. I love it. And yeah, I think she will be an entrepreneur too. And you know, for me, it's important to, for one, I grew up in a very, like, in a single mother household with my brother, and we struggled. You know, we had a roof over our heads, and we had clothes, and we had what we needed, you know, our basic needs met.
Yeah.
But and then later on as an adult, you know, I also generated, you know, wealth for myself too, like in the mortgage industry and stuff. And now it's like, here I am. I really believe that it's possible, that now I have that right foundation to really be able to not only do it for myself, but also teach it to other businesses and say, hey, this is very doable. Like, you can totally scale your business now. Like, this is, this is where we are.
Used to be.
Much easier.
Yeah, I love that.
There's no excuse anymore.
There isn't, unless you don't have a good idea.
Exactly.
It kind of starts with that, but yeah, you gotta have a great idea for people to rally around and get behind. So no, I definitely resonate with that. But yeah, I feel like the world is full of great ideas though. So, and people come out with ideas every day. I feel like the hardest part for people is to implement those ideas. But now we have a lot more resources at our disposal, especially with AI. You know, I'm going to go back to that real quick. So it's like, there's no excuses, really. There's no excuses. You just have to just do the work. And of course, it takes time. It takes a bit of energy on your part, effort, right? But yeah, and the follow through is really, really huge. So, but other than that, like what other, was there anything else you wanted to talk about or discuss that we didn't touch on? Or I just
This
want to
is
make
great.
sure.
I
Okay,
feel
cool.
really great. I think we touched on so many great
Awesome.
things.
We did.
And so hopefully, you know, the audience has
Mm-hmm.
got some things to chew on.
Of course.
Yeah, this has
Awesome.
been really good. Thank you.
Good. And let me know, actually tell everyone where they can find you, tell them how they can contact you. If they would love to, you know, work with you, your socials,
Thank
anything
you.
like that.
Yeah. My social Instagram is at Mina Satori. Thrive with Mina. I had just changed it actually.
Oh, okay.
So it's at Thrive with Mina.
Okay.
And my website is minasatori.com. M like Mary, I-N-A, Satori, S-A-T-O-R-I. And then of course my marketing agency is TFE, T-F like Frank, E, systems.com. So they can find me there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Mina. You're
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
you. Yep. Awesome.